Hey guys, so 2022 is over. I can't believe how quickly that year has flown by. I thought it was time I updated you guys on where I'm up to and see what the plans are going into 2023 because I've set some big goals. I'm a little bit nervous about doing this because I'm going to take a look back at the goals I set at the beginning of 2022, see if I hit them, where I ended up, and then we'll take a look at where we're going to try and aim to get to in this next year. And I have to admit, 2022 has been a whirlwind for me. There's been some huge wins and there's also been some pretty painful losses. So I'm gonna transparently take you through every single one of those and let you know how everything's been going. So as a starting point, we're gonna go through my goals from 2022 and look at how those are changing into 2023. Now last year, I broke my goals down into 4 sections. So we had crypto, investing, property, and YouTube. Now there's a couple of other sections in there which I'll mention at the end, but let's go through these first. So let's rip off the band-aid and start with crypto. Now I know crypto is very love-hate and more people hate it than actually love it, but I did set some goals at the beginning of this year and there's been some pretty drastic changes if you're not aware to the world of crypto. So in crypto, I had last year a few different projects. So I had 14K and a few various little projects. Now, I will tell you the majority of them did go pretty poorly. 1 or 2 I did quite well on, but overall, I came out slightly down. I also had the majority of money in something called the Anchor Project, so I had $20,000 in there, getting 20% return per year. Now, if you don't know, that was based on UST, which has now gone down the pan. It's actually completely gone bust and people lost a ton of money. Now luckily I was getting 20% and I made around $6,000 before that all kicked off. And when it started happening, thankfully I picked up on it pretty quickly and I ended up losing about $2,000, which is not ideal, I have to say, but it did leave me with a bit of a sour taste in my mouth. And now off the back of that, I can actually completely say I have actually sold my entire crypto portfolio. Now it's quite painful to say because I did really like crypto and I probably would invest in crypto again. The reason I've kind of moved away from this is because now with moving into the higher tax bracket, it's a no-brainer to put my money into a pension. So that's the money you will see in my 0 to 100k Vanguard series. My thoughts around cryptocurrency at the moment is because so many people have lost money, they're going to be quite hesitant to put money back in again. And what crypto needs is faith from the public. And I do think it's going to take some time to heal those wounds. But what I would say is all of the people that wanted to make money from Bitcoin should have bought Bitcoin before it shot up. There is this saying that you need to buy when there's blood in the streets. And to be honest, now is probably the time to buy cryptocurrency if you actually want to make any money from it. But realistically, no one wants to buy it when it's down. They all want to buy it once it's already shot up and there's no more money to be made. I may consider buying some of this again, but if I did do, all I would do is buy Bitcoin and Ethereum and just buy a small amount each and every month and use a solid broker like CoinJar, and that's literally all I would do. Okay, so moving on, and let me give you a quick update on my house. So last year I was hoping to buy a house and be on the property market, and am I? No, I've still sold my house before all the prices shot up and I've lost out about 30 to 40,000 on that, which is not nice. But I've been looking every single day, me and my partner, we're always looking for properties and we've still not really found one that we love. And especially with the prices being so high, it kind of makes you think, do I really want to spend a ridiculous amount of money and pay off for the next 30 years a house I think is okay? Now that might stem that I don't really love houses in the UK. I do love the character, all the properties, which is what I would really like, but we've not been able to find one of them at the kind of right price bracket. And I'd love to get a project that I could do up, but it seems nowadays people find those projects and they've already priced in the fact that you've got to spend 100 or 200,000 on it to do it up, which is crazy. So we're currently just renting for the time being off a family friend, and what we're going to do is just see what happens to the market over the next 6 months. I will do a full video on my thoughts on the property market, so stay tuned for that one. But first, I want to say a huge thank you to today's sponsor, Fineco Bank. They're a huge broker who have been going since 1999. With over 1.4 million clients today, they're one of the world's leading fintech banks. With over 90 billion under management, they're recognised by Forbes as one of the world's best banks. The impressive thing about Fineco is there's no shortage of stocks. They have over 20,000 on their platform and they have access access to over 26 markets. They have an impressive ISA which currently has 0 platform fees if you sign up before the end of the tax year. After that, it's a minimum of 0.25% per year. To buy and sell, their costs are low for a bank of this size. $3.95 on US stocks when you trade directly in USD, which sidesteps conversion fees. It's £2.95 for UK stocks, and if you're looking to trade CFDs, it's 0. For that, they just charge a small spread, which is ideal for anyone who might be looking to day trade. I know from my experience, being limited to what stocks you can buy is very frustrating or needing a pro version, so Fineco, being such a big bank and being so secure, is definitely a good option. I'll leave a link down below for anyone looking to check them out. So let's move on to the big one, which is investing, and this has been really interesting over the past year. So first, my lifetime ISA. Now, I put in 4,000 into this and I got a boost up to 5,000, and this didn't really go to plan. So I had 2 holdings in here. First with the Smithson Fund, which is kind of a high growth fund, and that's run by Terry Smith from Fundsmith, who I'm a huge fan of. So I thought I would give that one a go in here, see what happened, and that went down 30%, which was not fantastic. I also bought VWRL, but the problem I did here is I just put the money in one go, and I think this is a problem when you have a larger amount. Like, my main ISA portfolio is much higher than this, and what I thought was, it's not so much, let's just dump it all in at once. Well, the market's gone up and down, and I've pretty much just stayed the same, which is not fantastic. So that's down 4%, so what I really should have done there is averaged in along the way, which I'm definitely going to learn from. So my lifetime ISA is currently at 4.5k, which isn't quite the 10k I was aiming for, but that's also because I haven't added any money this year. So this year I'm actually going to add another £4,000, which will give me 5k with a government bonus, and then in the next tax year, which will be coming in April, I'll put in another 4k, which will give me a second 5k into there. So that should take me to 14.5k. Now moving on to my ISA, which is a big one. This was incredibly rocky. So I actually went last year from 65,000 to 124,000. And if you've been watching me for long, you will know I made a lovely mistake last year. I bought into Russia right before the war. So that actually lost me about £20,000, which was fantastic. Now I've still got that, and hopefully it will recover, but it'll just depend on what happens with the whole Russian situation. It's turned into a case now that I'm just gonna have to wait 5, maybe 10 years and see what happens. So I was hoping to get to 150,000 last year, but I've actually ended up with, currently my ISA is 110,000. Now this year I am actually going to add another 16k, and in the next year I'm also going to add another 16k. So I'm hopefully going to max out my ISA allowance for the next 2 years. So that will get me to 142,000. Now that will depend a little bit on what happens with the house situation and what I want to do in the next few years. One realization I have had is that just focusing on filling an ISA all the time is quite detrimental. By the time I save 20k into that, and I put into a pension, I'm kind of living my life just to save, which is pretty crazy. So I may start reducing the amount I do put into my ISA in favour of putting more into my pension. I am going to do a video on my complete strategy about how I've chosen these accounts and the method I'm using to hopefully retire early. Now, my growth account was my general investment account. I had this really good idea that I would build up a sum of money in there, make 10, maybe 5% a year, and that would pay me out £12,300 plus £2,000 in dividend tax. Well, the government's plan is now to tax you an insane amount of money on that profit you might be lucky enough to make. So that has kind of gone completely out the window, and I now have only 1k in my growth account. And to be honest, I don't really plan to add any more into there. What's new for this year though is my SIP, which is my Vanguard 0 to 100k series. And that one has done really well in the last year. That's because I've been consistently adding to it every single month, which is what I plan to continue doing. Now that one, as of the last video, I'm currently up to 54k. Now in the next year, I'm hoping to at least get that to 85,000, and that will be by the end of this year. Probably not the end of the tax year, but by the end of this year, so the end of December. So if we add all of those together, we've got 142,000 in the ISA, 1,000 in the general investment account, we've got 14,500 in the ISA, and 85,000 in a SIP. That brings us to 242,500. Now let's be a bit positive and hope I'm going to get a 5% return on that money, and that would take me to 254,625, which would be mind-blowing. Now in terms of YouTube, I did set some goals. I was at 5,400 this time last year. I was hoping on the low end to get to 10,000 and on the high end to get to 20,000. We actually ended up with around 15,000 subscribers, which is fantastic. I have realised that trying to get subscribers in the finance niche is quite difficult. I mean, it's not quite as exciting as Minecraft or something more general that people want to watch, but I'm happy with how we've been growing so far. If you're not subscribed, then do help me out with that number. But realistically, trying to get subscribers isn't really what it's all about. Patreon, I was hoping to get to £500 a month. It's currently at around £200 per month, which is fine. Ad revenue, I was hoping to get up to 1,000 per month. As you may have seen in my series, I did get up to around 700 at one point, but currently it's around £400 per month, which again, can't complain about. Sponsors, I was aiming for £1,000 a month, which I was able to achieve. And my affiliate revenue, I was hoping to get to £1,000 per month, which we've smashed through. I have managed to find an editor, which has helped me somewhat. I still need to find someone who can edit every single video so I can focus on other things, but we'll just have to see where that goes. And I also want to buy some more equipment. I bought some, but not all that I want. To be honest, I'm kind of waiting until I move property so I can set up a proper studio and get everything as I would like it to be. It may not seem like it, but if you saw this room, I'm really struggling for space. So hopefully when I get a bigger area, I'll be able to invest more into that. I'm also at kind of catch-22 where I'm so happy with investing everything I make into that portfolio series that I need to kind of break away from that a little bit and realize spending money to invest and improve the channel is also a good investment. The best way to see the YouTube income in more detail is to follow the series. I've just released the last episode, so do check that out. Now my YouTube goals have changed quite drastically. I'm not actually doing YouTube just for the money. I want to really help people learn how to invest as much as possible. And while it's great looking at the numbers, the stats and the money, it does cause me a lot of anxiety, wondering why a certain video doesn't do well and one does better, etc. So I've been doing a lot of thought about what my actual goal is. And it was something I wanted to make last year, but I was so stuck on trying to find a name for it, I never really got around to it. So what I really want to do is create some kind of community or platform which allows you to learn how to make more money, passive income, and then invest it and actually work towards retiring early. Because don't get me wrong, these videos are great, but you still have to piece together a bit of a side hustle, a bit of investing, see that video to learn that, and it's kind of like you have to put it all together yourself. So what I want to do is create some kind of platform where everyone can come together and work towards that goal. So hopefully that will be coming in this next year. I'm just working out the final details of how I want to do it. I'm going to leave a link down below because I am starting a kind of newsletter where I will keep you updated for when that launches. It's free and there's no charge, so do check that one out. My other goal for this year is massively around my health. Now it might not look like it, I might look fit and strong, hey, but actually, I am getting to the age, which sounds crazy, where I'm really feeling the impact of spending so much time working at a desk. I had this weird problem where I had a shooting pain down my leg for quite a long time, and I've actually come to realize it's from my hips, which is crazy because I'm into fitness, I'll run, I'll go to the gym, etc. And what's happened is slowly from spending so much time sitting, my body has just seized up. So I'm now spending way more time outdoors, exercising, and just trying to get up off the computer as much as possible. And this year I've got loads of things I want to do. I want to do loads of hikes. I'm going to attempt to do the Welsh 15, which I'm actually doing a bit differently. I'm just going to visit the 15 peaks through Wales and just get out, see some places, because I think that is just so good for your mental health and it really helps refresh, unwind, and figure out what you're trying to achieve. So those are my main goals for the next year. Have you set any goals for yourself? I'd love to hear what you're working on. And let me know what you think of these numbers, if you think I'll actually be able to achieve it, if you want to know anything in more detail. I can run you guys through my ISA portfolio if you'd like to see another update. But most of all, thank you for your continued support watching this channel. Every like, subscribe, and comment really means the world to me. And I'm so glad that I've been able to keep doing this through 2022 and into 2023. And hopefully this year I'll be able to make more of a difference and help many more people. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video.